Welcome to Salt of the Earth Farm Stories, where the heart of farming comes alive. From the soil that nurtures our crops to the animals that roam our pastures, we'll explore the beauty and challenges of life on the farm. So grab your boots as we celebrate the stories that connect us to the land and each other.
What the heck has just happened, and we don't really know what to do or where to help or how this is going to play out long term, and let's just chuck you in a wheelchair and figure it out.
All right, so today's episode, well, this one's powerful. I'm sitting down with Sam Longmore. Now, if you don't know her, buckle up, because this woman is next level. Before her accident, she was going full throttle at life. Like, seriously, she was working crazy hours, saying yes to more, sleeping less, just flat out bulletproof. Or so she thought. Then one morning, 5:30 a.m. Heading home from work, everything changed. One moment, everything's just the usual chaos. Next, her world is flipped. She was left paralyzed down one side. But here's the thing. Sam didn't just survive. She redefined resilience. She found this fiery attitude. She says, "I don't care. This is my life." And honestly, I felt that. She's fiercely independent, passionate about agriculture, and now runs her own ag spraying contracting business. Yep, she's out there earning respect from farmers. We talk about getting stuck in paddocks, and one of the paddocks was full of snakes. And of course, we hear about Ernie the dog. And unbeknown to Ernie, he's getting ready to go water skiing with Sam, because why not? And speaking of water skiing, wait till you hear what she's doing on the water. Slalom, trick and jump. Smashing records, just casually. But beyond all that physical grit, this chat dives into something even deeper. Mental health. It's not just about what you see on the outside. Sam's story brings a whole new meaning to that simple question, are you okay? So yeah, this one's emotional, it's raw, it's real, and it's unfiltered. This is part A with the incredible Sam Longmore. Let's go. G'day, Sam.
Hello.
Thanks for the coffee.
No worries. Hope it's warm enough.
Perfect. Can you tell me, where are we today?
In my lounge room, in my house in the Yass Valley.
And you're on small acreage here.
Yep.
So we're looking out the window here, and I can see some Angus cattle roaming. There's some crops that are just popping up out of the ground. It's a beautiful view. What do you see?
I see the same, and a lot of cow shit. Yeah, which is beautiful. It means they're eating,
Yeah,
and we love that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And some work in front of you as well.
A lot of work in front of me.
Sam, are you comfortable in telling me about your physical disability?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm totally comfortable with that. Would you like me to start from the beginning, or
Yeah.
my disability in general?
No, it's from the beginning.
From the beginning. 12 years ago, I was a busy little bee. I'm very much still a busy little bee.
You are.
I was working full-time as a farming contractor. So, I was 20 years old and doing all the shit jobs for everyone else. I needed a second job to save a bit of money whilst I was waiting to go away into the army, and after passing all of my exams, etc. I needed a safety net, financial safety net, after not having any financial security within my life. And I thought, I need this second job to make all of that happen. And I found that second job in the middle of Canberra at a nightclub, and I'd work there Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights. So I was working 12-hour days throughout the week, sometimes 7 days a week. And then I was working Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights at this nightclub.
Behind the bar?
Behind the bar,
And
yes.
how long would it take to get there?
About an hour and a half from where I was living at the time. So I had that hour and a half drive after I had a shit in the shows, and headed on down the road for a full night shift. I'd finish work on the Friday morning and the Saturday morning and the Sunday mornings around sort of 4:30, 5:30, all depending. But this particular phase of 3 days, only because I'd been doing this same thing for the 2 months leading up to it, in that buffer period before I went away to the army. 12-hour day at work, Monday, 12-hour day at work, Tuesday, extracurriculars of the evening, friends and boyfriend time. And Tuesday night, I'd go to Burrawa to do our clay target shooting with the gun club over there. Wednesday, 12-hour day. Wednesday night, I'd head to Harden to the bolo and do line dancing with my group of oldies. A bit random, very fun.
Cool.
And then, it was work, work, work. Thursday night, bar work. Friday, farm work. Friday night, bar work. So that's 2 full days of no sleep.
Can I ask at this point, that's a lot for anyone at whatever age. Did you think at that age you were bulletproof?
Absolutely. Absolutely invincible that I could just keep going. But I was a people pleaser and
a hard worker.
yeah, but a people pleaser. That's what I'd sort of grown up to become. A lot of my childhood life really has impacted my later life. You could think of it as a negative experience, but later, and you'll understand throughout my story how much I now thank all the difficulties that I've gone through and turn them into, tools to help me navigate what has been the actual hardest part of my life so far. Yeah.
So some long days.
And some long nights.
And then what happened?
And then I took 4 of my best mates to the Harden picnic races. So we did that throughout the day, and then I was supposed to have the night off, and my friends were all partying, and I was going to go home to bed, and that was going to be it. But my boss at the nightclub asked me to come in. Tried to say no. Didn't hear anything from him. He rang me, offered me double pay for my entire shift if I were to come, or I wouldn't have that job anymore. So it was on an ultimatum, and I was a people pleaser, and I was saving money, so I didn't want to let myself down or him. And double pay, cash, tax-free, would have earned me more money in one night than I would have earned an entire week at work, plus tips, ripper. So I went to work on the Saturday night rather than going home to bed, and that's not to say it's his fault at all. I said yes. Finished work 5:30 Sunday morning. At that point, I hadn't slept for just over 3 days, no alcohol, no drugs, just working, just my drug of choice, if you will, which is an adrenaline rush because I froth it, Jumped in my car, drove out to Gold Creek Servo, got myself a bite to eat, a coffee, funnily enough.
At what time of the day?
5:30, 6 o'clock.
In the morning.
In the morning, on the Sunday morning. A little fizzle lolly that I used to eat as a kid at the local pool. This one was a different flavour, so treat yourself. Headed out of the servo onto the Barton Highway, heading towards Myron Bateman Yas direction, a pretty notorious part of the Barton Highway. There's a horse stud, Capricorn stud, white fence, red roses on every second post or so, and I fell asleep. Out like a light. That was, people say you have these micro sleeps, but I believe that was my micro sleep. I hit the guardrail on the left-hand side of this creek area, went across to the opposite side of the road, up an embankment, and flipped my car through an old school 6-foot public pool type fence. Landed pretty close to a really big gum tree, so I'm very lucky I didn't hit that one. Even more lucky, I was found by 2 nurses who were on their way home from their shift at the hospital in Canberra, funnily enough, and a builder who was on his way to work. Ambos, police, fireys, put into the back of the ambulance, bumps, bruises, cuts, a couple of broken bones, and we headed back down the Barton Highway, heading towards Canberra, to the Canberra hospital. Driver of the ambulance fell asleep and rear-ended a car that was stopped at red traffic lights, and I went headfirst into the backs of the front seats from 90 k's an hour to a dead stop. So I technically got squashed from the top of my head.
In the ambulance?
I had 2 car accidents on the same stretch of road in 2 different states in a matter of 45 minutes.
Oh, Sammy.
And I ended up with a brainstem or spinal cord injury, and I'm paralysed down my right-hand side.
My God.
Yeah, fuck my life, right?
When did the most damage occur, in the first or second accident?
I'm not going to answer that question how you'd like me to, but what I am going to say is injuries were sustained, and I made decisions in the beginning that enabled the series of unfortunate events to play out. And however that had happened, my life would have been impacted at some way or another, whether it was immediately for the short term or immediately and for the long term. It's something that I don't think too much about now. I had to for a long time after a long legal battle with that whole situation. But if I had kept that feeling within my body, use your imagination a little bit, if I had kept that feeling of anger within my body up until this day, I'd be a very different person. Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
It happened on the Barton Highway. Yeah.
Twice.
Twice. Yeah. Wow. Yep. Yep. Can't make this shit up.
I need to take a breath.
Did you actually not know that? You did not know that?
I didn't know the second
Oh.
accident. No,
There we go. Yep.
no, I'm shocked
Mm-hmm.
and sad for you. But getting to know you, I'm kind of really happy for you. You are like
Yeah.
soldiering on. Like there's not many people could do what you do, and with what you've been through. So recovery, Sam. How long did that take, and how long were you in hospital for?
Recovery, 12 years. Best part of it.
Silly
No,
question.
I
Sorry.
think, no, that's not a silly question. I think that's just the answer to that question, realistically. I was in hospital, I was in Canberra hospital for a couple of months. It's all a bit of a blur because so much happened after my accident. Um, I was in Canberra hospital for a while, then I was in St Vincent's Private Hospital in Sydney for a fair while, and that's where my base then came to be was Sydney after experiencing a difficult time at Canberra Hospital, lack of help, etc. So let's just say, for argument's sake, 3 months, 3 or 4 months, and then home, and then back again, and surgery, and home, and surgery, and home. So, you know,
Was there a particular point when you remember the doctor coming in to say of the full extent of the injuries that you found out about?
not really. My memory was impacted a fair bit after my accident, and if I'm completely honest, my experience after my accident has been, you know, very unlike most of the people that I've met in chairs where they had that, your life's going to be impacted now because you're not going to be able to put one foot in front of the other. It was more like, what the heck? What the heck has just happened? And we don't really know what to do or where to help or how this is going to play out long term. And let's just chuck you in a wheelchair and figure it out. That was immediately. And then, I've got a really incredible team of people up in Sydney who helped me a little later on. And I had a few surgeries that helped some pain, etc. And it wasn't until sort of the beginning of a legal battle that I went through that the doctors were like, this is kind of what your life's going to look like. But that's them saying that too. Yeah.
So what is your condition?
So I've got what's called hemiparalysis. So I'm paralyzed down one side of my body. It's very similar to someone who has paralysis or is paralyzed from the waist down, chest down, all the different levels, T levels of your spinal cord. I am just the right hand side from just above my collarbone all the way down to my toes. So I have no sensation or movement. And then I've got no sensation from my ring finger and my pinky finger on my left hand side all down the back side of my body. Fully functioning, full strength, just my right hand side's impacted physically. Yeah.
I've had the morning here shooting a doco with you, and I just find you extraordinary. What you've done, how you do it, it's mind-boggling. I think you're pretty awesome.
Thank you.
So Sam, tell me, when did it feel like that we had you back?
Not as soon as you would think. I think it's only been in the last few years that I've really fallen right into myself and not who I was, because I don't think it's growth to get yourself back after a situation like that. I think it's growth to become a new you. If something like this doesn't change you in a way, then something's wrong. You don't want to be, it's the same way as I look at resilience. You don't want to be who you were, or you don't want to be in this position that you were prior. You want to be a new you to move forward in a better way. And I really believe it's just been over the last, let's say, call it 3 or 4 years that I've really found myself. It come quick for me to be back working and doing 50 million different things, but that was same old me. That was me not having growth, and that was me still trying to figure out my life and figure out who I was and find my voice, because although I'm an outgoing person now, I wasn't. I was a listener and I was a doer of all of the things, but I wasn't like, listen to me, hear my voice.
So you're an introvert?
Kind of.
And what are you now?
Very much an extrovert. Yeah, and I think that's powerful within itself. So let's call it 3 or 4 years. And the past 3 or 4 years that I've really found myself and really found my I don't care. This is my life. I know we only literally have one. Yeah, and I think it's powerful. But my legal situation made me this person because I had to be. And that was powerful within itself. Probably the only good thing that's come out of that. Yeah.
Did your friendship circle change?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Really?
absolutely. And it's not like I don't see any of this as being a particularly sad set of circumstances. Yeah, it's a bit shit. But all of the things that have happened after my accident happened because I was supposed to. My accident was happened because that was supposed to. I'm not a God botherer, or I don't believe in anything like that, but I do believe in a higher power in the sense of the universe to a degree. Things happen because they're supposed to happen. And, I had a partner at the time that I had my accident, and it was very impacting him, which then impacted me, and I didn't know whether I was Arthur or Martha, so that relationship fell apart. Your friendships, they're all very strong in the beginning because this big crazy thing has happened. And then you realize very quickly that those friendships are not long lasting because they fizzle very quickly when you get home and things get chucked in the too hard basket. And, all of a sudden you can't go out and do all of the things that they were all doing. But I'm better for it. I'm better for it. I don't believe you should have massive friendship circles because most of them aren't real friends in the first place. Yeah, they changed, but I'm happy for it and happy that it happened then because generally your friendship circles will change later on in life. Naturally, people will just fall off because of life. And for me, it happened at 20 years old and rebuild.
I can see that you're very likable and people gravitate to you, and you can cut it with the best of them, can't you? I've seen you out there with the fellas this morning.
Yeah, definitely.
There's not much you can't do.
No.
What did people get wrong in those early days after your accident?
That I was okay. And I think even now, people still, and I'll probably get emotional, people still think that I'm okay. Like, I've always been the person who will ask other people whether they're okay. And I think, especially over the last few years of mental health being this huge conversation that is thankfully finally happening, people are not still grasping the actual fact of it, and that is actually ask people if they are okay, not just assume because of the way they look, the way they act, that kind of thing. So I think in the very beginning, what people got wrong was that I was okay and that I was going to be okay.
That's
Makes
interesting, Sam,
sense.
because sometimes we can see your disability. Are you okay in getting up into the car or into that chair? But we don't stop and ask about how you are mentally.
Exactly right. Yeah. Yeah. I think, the physical hurdles, they're you can see that they're there, you know, but what actually for me and for so many other people gets impacted more after an accident like this is our mental health because our whole life has just changed. And I come from being a very, very independent person for, my life circumstances. I had to be independent. And then all of a sudden I got that independence ripped out from underneath me and I was having people wipe my ass in hospital and wash me and help me brush my teeth and feed me and all of the things. And then that was gone. And, I struggled a lot with anger internally, or, even now I'll get frustrated, brush my teeth, and still trying to figure out this left hand business after 12 years. And I whack myself in the gums, and that one little thing would have set me off because, of my own fault too. I'm very much a yes man and I need to be a no man. But yeah, I think the mental health is the really, really prominent part, not just the physical side of things that you can see, like everything.
So, how are you?
I'm okay.
Going good?
I got a bit on board, but funnily enough, it's got absolutely nothing to do with my disability. It's life because we experience life the same as everyone else with or without a disability. Yeah.
Thanks for that important message, Sam. Where did you grow up?
I spent first 5 years of my life, 5 or 6 years of my life in Junee, not too far from the chocolate factory. Beautiful. My parents split and my dad and I moved to a little place called Geelong. Lived in a pub there for a little while and then moved out onto a farm. Dad's a mechanic and he just fixes all the farmers' broken things. And that's where my love of farming and agriculture really started to blossom in wide
Yeah.
open spaces. I had all the space to ride my motorbike and
Yeah.
bang around in Dad's old busted car as a paddock basher. Yeah.
So you've always had a bit of a passion for ag?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. My first actual job was lamb marking and loved it. Loved the fast pace of that sort of environment, but also the slow pace of the environment as a whole.
What did the little Sam want to be when she grew up?
Professional motorbike rider.
My kids were the same.
Yeah. That's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, well, not ridiculous, super cool. Yeah, professional motorbike rider or a professional runner. Like, I was a sprinter. I was bloody good. As I mentioned, I had a pretty interesting upbringing, and Dad was never able to come to all of the things because he was working and blah blah blah. But one thing he used to say to me before I had an athletics carnival every single time was, "Run like the wind, bullseye." And he still says that to me now. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
And you're quite good at high jump too.
It was good at high jump. Yeah, it was good at high jump, good at long jump, good at shot put. I was an all-rounder. Yeah.
And there was a bit of an accident at high jump one day.
Yeah. I was at school, high jumping, trying to get a bit of a record situation, and jumped over the bar, jumped over the mat, and landed on my tailbone on the ground. Both of my fallopian tubes twisted and cut the blood supply off to my ovaries. And
Oh my God.
yeah, it wasn't like, obviously it hurt in the immediate instance, but it wasn't until a few days later that, yeah, life changed, and now they're not part of my body.
You've had your ovaries taken out?
Yeah.
Oh, Sam. And that was at
yeah.
15.
That was at 15, yeah, and I'm now 32.
So your accident happened when you were about 21?
I was 20.
20.
Yeah.
And what's your family's reaction to this since the accident?
Car accident?
Yeah.
Family's reaction to my car accident? Obviously immediate shock, as you can imagine. There was immediate shock there. My family, my mum and my dad, they're not like, my dad's a crier. You wouldn't think that, but he very, very much is. Very emotional man, which is nice. But it wasn't hysteric or over the top sadness or anything like that. It was pretty well like, oh, well, we'll figure it out. And I've loved that. I've not had huge support from my mum and my dad in my immediate space. They're there always, and they're only a phone call away. But I think that in itself, as well as the friends that I have and the huge family network that I have, they've not wrapped me in cotton wool. They've not wrapped me in bubble wrap. So that's enabled me to be that person that I am today, the doer of the things, get shit done because I haven't had people hold my hand the whole way. So although it was shock and sadness initially, not hugely, so we'll figure it out.
As I get to know you, I can't imagine you being wrapped in cotton wool either.
Yuck.
Yeah.
No thanks. Stop touching me pretty well.
And you've got a few brothers and sisters, a few siblings.
Yeah.
How many?
Like 11? Yeah, I think it's 11, something like that. Oh no, that sounds ridiculous. Very split family, but I have, 11 brothers and sisters, without giving you the full rundown of the whole dynamic. Parents split, repartnered, had more children, come with more children, all of the children, there's lots of children. Yeah. I was speaking to you earlier and mentioned to you that I've got an older brother that me and my sister, my full sister, don't know, haven't met, don't have too much information on, would like to meet. Crazy dynamic. And a few years ago, we learnt that my dad and my auntie, who you met this morning, also have an older brother.
Oh.
Yeah, that they hadn't met until, the last handful of years. Knew of, but hadn't met. And now, and he's got a couple of daughters, and they've all just fallen in now as just part of the
Really?
family, and it's all, yeah.
Was he far away, the brother?
Queensland. Yeah, Queensland. So realistically, no. He lived in Junee for many, many years. So I found it all pretty funny. Circumstance of the situation. Anyway, they say you could write a book on it.
Well, I'm just thinking this podcast might have about 10 episodes.
Sorry.
No, I'm loving it, Sam. It's a life that no one else has lived, I'm sure.
Yeah.
What's a typical workday look like for you?
Oh, do you know what? I only had this conversation with a friend the other day and said I'll never ever be able to get kidnapped or stalked because my day, every single day is a different day and I love it. A typical work day looks like getting up super early. I have mentioned to you I'm a little bit of a work outerer, gymming type gal. So I'll try and get a bit of a gym in the morning, a bit of pre-workout, gym, coffee, difficult situation, that one from time to time, shower, work clothes, into the van and drive to wherever my spraying job is. But that is just my spraying job.
Yes, we'll get to those others in a sec. Just you said about the difficult situation, or it can be difficult sometimes. What's that? The coffee?
Didn't quite pick up on that, did you? You ever drank pre-workout?
Oh, right. Yes.
And coffee at the same time, not long after.
Ah,
That's
okay.
where I was
All right.
getting.
That's
But
part
yes,
of your
to
daily
answer your
routine.
to answer your question, you're probably getting at the way my bowels and bladder move is also very different too.
Ah, is it?
Yeah. So yeah, it can be difficult. I will shit my pants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. All right. We're covering off on all bases now. I'm getting to know you really well, Sam. But thank
Yeah.
you.
No
Thank you.
worries. There you go.
Thank you for sharing it.
No worries. Oh, sometimes I think, what the fuck is coming out of your mouth?
Now, at any time you need to rush off to the loo, just
yeah, okay.
you've had no pre-workout today.
No. Oh my God.
So you've got an agricultural spraying business,
Yes.
and what's that involved?
Um,
You've got a buggy?
yeah, so yeah, I've got a buggy. So I've got my van, trailer, buggy. Got a 300 litre tank on the back of the buggy, and yeah, predominantly I do spot spraying. And I absolutely love it. You know, I've struggled a little bit over the last few years since doing it to change people's minds about me being the one doing the work because they wouldn't generally expect me to be getting out of the van.
That's what I'm thinking. It would have been easier for you to get an office job and you can sit beside a desk. But no, you've picked a very courageous job where
Yeah.
I've seen you this morning. You've got the buggy up on the trailer. You've got to pull the ramps out,
Yeah.
back the buggy down, throw your wheelchair in, get the engine started, and off you go.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And if you can, why not? Yeah, is probably a motto I live by.
And how does it feel now? Like you've got farmers coming up to you getting advice on weed management or something to do with their crops. That must feel good. Like they have enormous respect for you.
Yeah, it definitely does feel good. And it's ever changing or ever growing, I should probably say. You know, in the immediate point, it was that, holy heck, like, who's this person getting out of the car in a wheelchair? Like, I'm expecting a spraying contractor. Them being shocked and unconvinced to now, yeah, asking for my advice. It's really nice. It's shocking sometimes to me too, where it shouldn't be. I should be like, oh yeah, I got this. Love it. Ask me all of the questions. I'll give you all of the answers as much as possible.
I can see that you've got that respect.
Yeah.
What's the favourite part of rural life for you?
Look, I love a good pair of work boots, you know, love the work boots. But I love being out in the fresh air. You know, I think it's powerful. You could be having a terrible time at home. You could be having a terrible day in general, and just being out in fresh air, whether it be freezing cold or a beautiful sunny day like it is here today, that fresh air and that smell of agriculture, I think can just change your mindset without even a second thought. And feeling powerful in what I do, strong in what I do. That's my favourite part, yeah.
What's your least favourite job?
Maintenance.
Yeah.
Things are difficult when you don't have the use of two hands, tools, and, you know, changing CVs and stuff like that. Bit of an experience there not too long ago, but yeah.
You changed
maintenance.
the CV joint.
Yeah.
Oh, good on you.
Beauty of growing up with my dad as a mechanic, I can do all that shit. And being interested in it too.
I don't know how you do that with one hand.
Difficulties, especially in the middle of summer, and a brown snake decided it wanted to slither through the shed. Yeah. Crap me dacks, I did. Yeah.
Because you can't run away
No.
quickly. What happened?
Not much. Shit myself. What do you do? I'm on my bum on the concrete. My chair is behind me. Yeah.
Shit.
I was like, oh my God.
So it did take off to another direction.
Yeah, come in the roller door and out the little single door and hung around the back steps
Did
near
you
my
stay
ramp.
still as you could? What'd you do?
No, I don't know. Dropped everything. I did exactly what you shouldn't do.
Yeah,
Chucked a wobbly.
yeah.
Yep.
And a few swear words.
Known to, yes.
Have you ever had a job go hilariously wrong, or was that it?
I wouldn't say like a whole job go hilariously wrong. I've done the old put water in the tank, not put chemical in the tank, go and spray the weeds, and you're out spraying for a few hours and think, oh, whoops.
That's right. It's like me shooting an interview and forgetting to hit record.
Yeah, exact same. I've had the whole, cruising along, spraying weeds, all of a sudden you're in a wombat hole situation. I've not actually had anything go terribly, terribly wrong. I have the irrational fears, rational but irrational, that, my chair's going to fly out of the side by side. I'll lose a wheel, something will break. I'll be on the side of a hill putting my chair together and my chair will roll down the hill because I will not put my brake on or something. But nothing has, not off the top of my head, nothing has gone to, you know, flat tires in the paddock, not having my gear and no phone service. And no, other than that, that's,
You had the petrol tank running on empty this morning.
yeah, it ran on. Do you know what's really funny about that? And for all of the people that know me, that's just typical me. She was flashing at me for about 30 minutes yesterday afternoon when I finished up my job. I was like, oh, whoops.
And then you did all that work on it this morning for me.
I could have sprayed for another half an hour. Look at that, Jesus.
Tell me about you stuck in a wombat hole. How did you get out?
So think a family of wombat holes. So there's a cluster of them, and I'm there in it. Managed to get my front wheel out of it, but then my back wheel have gone in. I've got 300 litres of spray in the tank, and because the whole buggy had been rocking, the chemical in the tank is still rocking, so it's unbalancing the whole buggy. The buggy's a bit jerky to kind of take off, which you now know, and I'm trying to kind of get out of that, and I'm balancing on that back wheel. Eventually, I climbed over into the right-hand side of the buggy, passenger side, and I had to try and put all of my weight on that side of the buggy to bring it down. But then what? I had to then get on the other side, and it did exactly the same thing. Put the foot down and drove until I couldn't stop driving.
Yeah, did you?
Pretty well, pretty well. I was with my dad. Dad come out spraying with me one day, and we come around this bit of a bank spraying blackberries, and he was on foot, and I was putting, spraying the other side. We didn't realise because the whole blackberry bush was covering this big washout into a creek, and I had my whole front of the buggy was up, and again I was sort of balancing on those back one or two wheels, and there was nothing I could do. I couldn't go forward and I couldn't go back because I would have flipped it, and if I went forward I would have gone into the creek. But I was lucky. Speaking of safety earlier, I was lucky that I had my dad with me there as a safety net to hang down onto the front of the buggy whilst I tried to turn away from that washout. So I guess that was a bit of a situation. That was scary.
God.
Even he was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, close call.
That's another chapter in your book.
Probably would have laughed about that too, though. Oh, well, what do you do?
What's the weirdest thing you've ever found or seen in a paddock while you're spraying?
Again, probably wouldn't say weird, but there's a property not too far from here, and they're very, I wouldn't even say organic, but love animals, like wildlife. They're anti-shooting of the kangaroos and the foxes and all of the things.
The foxes too.
Everything, yeah. And I think the local snake catchers here in town take all of the snakes that they catch out there. I was in one paddock. This paddock was, I think it was like 80 acres, so not huge, and spraying the whole entire paddock, and I would have seen 10 or 15 snakes. Initially, I thought it was the same snake following me, all different snakes. Yeah, I thought I was going crazy. I thought I'd been sniffing too much of the chemical, but there was just 50 million snakes.
Really?
I had no idea what was going on. Got on the phone to a friend at one point, and they're like, no, yeah, local snake catchers drop snakes out there, just out on the property, the whole property covered in them. I felt like snakes on a plane, snakes on a buggy.
All different species?
All different species.
Wow.
Yeah. Terrifying.
Sam, tell me about dogs. How many have you got? And are they working dogs or pets or both?
I have one pet dog, Ernie. He's the love of my life. He's an Irish Terrier. And we have 5 work dogs.
Can you quickly list off their names? Because they're really cool names.
Yeah, so we've got Red Dog, we've got Bill, Buzz, Bert, and River.
Love it.
Yeah,
Now, is Ernie an inside dog?
and he is an inside dog, as you can tell by our couch. Yeah.
Who's the bossiest dog?
Ernie.
Really?
Yeah, and he also thinks he's a work dog. Yeah, we've got 4 sheep out in the paddock, and yeah, he tries.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's definitely bossy.
He's been inside with the heater on this morning, I noticed.
Yeah, he also lives the life of leisure.
We'll talk about water skiing in a sec, but have you ever taken a dog skiing with you?
Ernie comes on the boat all the time
Right.
with us. He's not much of a swimmer, but it's my goal to get him on my ski on my lap now that I'm a very confident skier.
So tell me about skiing. How is that arranged, and you compete as well?
Yes, yeah, so not just weekend fun beers and boats sort of situation. I do compete in tournament water skiing, which is really cool. I've done that for the last 4 or 5 years, which is really cool. Tried to get into a variety of different sports after I had my accident. Obviously, being a sporty person, wanted to try and get back into that. Tennis, no, because I need a hand to racket and a hand to wheel. Same with basketball, same with rugby. I wasn't really into bowls. Bowls is not sort of amped up enough for me. And
One day, maybe? No?
nah. I love water sports prior to my accident, and I just love that sort of friends on the boat having a good weekend. Very long story short, got thrown belly boarding on a knee board and loved it. I was like, oh my God, I'm strong in my one arm, so I can hang on really well. But surely there is a way that people in wheelchairs with disabilities as a whole can water ski. And I've researched into the depths of the internet and found New South Wales Disabled Water Ski Club based out of Sydney. Hadn't been much use of the Instagram page, but emailed them, messaged them, and eventually got a response. And so the rest is history to a degree. Went and did a come and try day, which they run a handful of come and try days, sort of Sydney area and Canberra throughout the ski season. Did that, and then I was like, I'm hooked.
Good on you.
Figure out where to get your equipment and meet all the people, but yeah. Did that, and here we are, a few nationals and a world championships and world record and a few Australian records later, and we're 2.5 months out from our next world championships here in Australia for the first time in years. Yeah.
Oh,
there you go.
Congratulations.
No worries. Yeah, thanks. Yeah. There you go.
God, you're surprising me. There you go. So how's it set up? It's a slalom ski.
Yep. So it's the slalom ski that I have is, not dissimilar to a slalom ski that you would use. For example, it's a little wider, a little longer, but works all the same. However, I've got a cradle that's kind of made or designed for you and your shape and your needs that gets bolted to that ski. It can come on and off. And depending on whether you are just a slalom skier or like me, I'm a 3-eventer, so I slalom, trick and jump. So that same cradle can be transferable across all 3 skis. So my slalom ski, trick ski, which is just a wakeboard, I just ride it face on, and then my jump ski is very similar to my slalom ski, except rather than being rounded at the top and bottom, it's squared off. It's just like a big bent up rectangle, big plank. I don't know. Yeah.
So you jump ski too. Tell me a bit about that. Is it how far do you go? How far do you jump? Have you broken any records there?
Yeah, actually I have. So firstly, I love slalom. Slalom is the biggest mental game on the planet.
The cutting bit, or what do you
Just
like about
the whole bit. Having half a body that you can't feel or move is, interesting in that regard, and hanging on with one hand. But tricking, very difficult with one hand. It's my nemesis. I hate it. Jumping is my favourite thing to do.
Really?
Ever, because it ticks that adrenaline rush feeling that I yearn for so often, that I used to get all of the time from motorbike riding, etc. Because you're behind a boat, you're on a huge big long rope, you've got your helmet on, you've got your jacket on, you're gearing up, and you spin around at the bottom of the lake or the river or wherever you are, and then you come pumping back at this 5 foot, 6 foot, depending, jump floating in the water at 55k, which doesn't seem like very fast on land, but in water it almost feels like double that speed. And then you hit this jump hard as, and all of a sudden you're flying Hopefully. Hopefully. That's the aim of the game. Now, to give you a comparison, let's say an average able bod jump would be 30, 35 meters for the average person, 60 meters for a very, very, very good jumper. For me, I'm jumping like 15 meters. Doesn't seem like far, but I've also got no suspension. So able-bodied people are using their knees as their suspension, knees and hips as their suspension. I'm just hitting that jump hard as and landing even harder. And it is incredible. It is the most
Wow.
incredible feeling.
But 15 metres is still a long way.
Oh yeah,
That's
100%.
bloody
I'm not
oath.
taking
Yeah.
that away from myself at all, or anyone else. I haven't got to a full cut yet. That's terrifying because my last jump at Nationals at the beginning of the year, I split the side of my jump ski, which, it's all part of it. But it's terrifying. The thoughts going through my mind are filthy leading up to the jump, in the sense of, what the F are you doing? Hang on.
Yeah.
Hang the fuck on. Because it is terrifying. You've got this big brick wall coming up at you pretty well. But yeah, anyway, long story short, that's what I do.
That's part A with Sam. Honestly, I'm still letting some of what Sam said sink in. What a powerhouse. What a story. And trust me, we're not done yet. In part B, Sam shares what keeps her going, what drives her. And she drops this absolute gem. There's no barrier big enough in life to stop you doing something you love. It's seriously inspiring. So if you thought part A was something, wait till you hear what's next. Stick around, part B is coming your way soon.